As part of our Commitment 2016 election coverage, WGAL is covering the races that impact the Susquehanna Valley, from the presidential contest to state and local races. It's our commitment to making you a more informed voter. I'm joined now by the candidates running for the 97th Legislative District in the Pennsylvania House. The district covers Lititz, Warwick Township, and parts of Manheim Township. The candidates from left to right are Charlie Klein, the Democratic challenger. He's a pharmacist from Manheim Township, and Republican incumbent Steve Menser, also from Manheim Township. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us, Susan.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, we appreciate it. The revenue for Pennsylvania, the start of the fiscal year, was down considerably from estimates. Do you see that as problematic, Representative Menser?
Basically, we have an issue in Pennsylvania where we need to take advantage of innovation to increase revenue. And in fact, I initiated a bill that passed into law that allows Pennsylvania to process other states' government checks. We do that very well in Pennsylvania. And we'll actually make about $10 million on one state alone. We need to look at innovative ways to raise revenue and not always look for the taxpayer for more revenue. So that's what we'll do as we move forward here. You know, our estimates are a little low, but we have another budget season that we're coming into, and
our estimates were high.
Right.
Yeah.
Our estimates were high.
Exactly. What's your take on the revenue?
Well, our current representative voted not to pass the revenue for the current budget, yet he voted to increase the budget by 5% over last year. So when I read the things that he writes in the Lititz record, which doesn't have a digital log, it strikes me as unusual that he's raising revenue. So I'm not quite understanding where you're coming from with that. You know, how do you pass a budget that's 5% over last year and then not pass the revenue for it?
Can I respond to that?
Sure.
Great. Well, Susan, I did not vote for the revenue package because a lot of representatives from Lancaster County felt that it needed to have a initiative that we've been working very hard on. And that is an initiative that allows individuals to identify large organizations that are taking advantage of Medicaid fraud. And essentially, we've instituted we would like to institute an initiative in Pennsylvania like they initiated in Ohio, where Ohio made it easy for individuals to identify these people taking advantage of Medicaid.
How much Medicaid fraud do you think is out there?
Well, in Ohio, they've instituted this, and in the 3-year period, they're now saving $500 million a year. So $500 million is significant, and I think we should be looking for waste, fraud, and abuse before we simply raise taxes. That's one of the reasons I did not vote for the revenue package.
All right, let's let Mr. Klein respond to that.
It's fiscally irresponsible to raise the budget by 5% and not vote for the funding. When I have my job review, I didn't get a 5% raise. So I don't understand how we can vote to pass a budget that increases the amount of money we're spending in the state. And meanwhile, some of us during an impasse got paid.
Right.
It's a very frustrating situation because when I go to work, I get paid. When I stay home, I don't.
All right, let's move on. Opioids. The governor has tasked the legislature and lawmakers with passing some bills to hopefully prevent this opioid addiction problem. You're in the pharmacy business, a longtime pharmacist.
Absolutely.
What's your reaction to that?
They're not doing enough. They're not doing enough. Recently, they've made it made it allowable that we can fill prescriptions for something like Narcan, where someone could come in and just request it, and we can fill that prescription, and that's fantastic. That initially saves that person's life, but what happens to that life after you save it? You know, where's the funding to help that person? It's just not enough. And
you're talking with treatment.
I'm talking absolutely with treatment. You know, I mean, addiction is a disease, and there's a major problem when representatives vote to pass a budget and don't fund things. The pharmacists just got a new tool recently this year where we now have a database where we can verify if a prescription's been filled, a controlled substance.
To prevent prescription abuse.
That was passed 4 years ago. Where was the funding for that? 4 years ago. How many people have died of overdoses in 4 years?
And that has just now been implemented. What about treatment? Can you address that, what you're going to be doing?
Susan, I was going door to door last Saturday, and I met a woman whose son has an addiction. And she was telling me about the pain involved in that and the fact that because of the addiction, he's going to wind up maybe going to jail. As she was telling me that, I could see her pain in her eyes. And she's not alone. There are a lot of people in that situation all across the state.
But what can the House
What
do
we
to
did
improve
was
treatment?
we recently, decisively and fast, along with the governor, passed an increase in the budget to allocate $15 million for treatment centers. And we're going to add 45 treatment centers in Pennsylvania that, when it comes to full fruition, will treat 10,000 people. And there's other things we're going to do. We're going to go back in a week or so towards the end of October, and we have more initiatives that are geared towards trying to solve this problem, because it's a serious problem facing Pennsylvania.
All right, just quickly, why should the voters in Manheim Township and surrounding areas re-elect you?
Well, when I ran 4 years ago, I realized people were fed up and had enough of partisan bickering and government spending, wasteful spending. And so I took it as an opportunity to reach across the aisle and come up with common sense solutions, the kind of solutions that I talked about earlier. You know, to move the state forward, we need to come up with new, innovative solutions to solve the problems using efficiencies.
All right, well, let's give Mr. Klein a chance to say why you want to unseat this man.
4 years ago, Representative Menser was handed this position. He didn't have someone to run against. 2 years ago, the other person that ran against him wasn't given a voice like I'm given here today. Today I have a voice, and if I am voted to be the representative of the 97th, I will act just like I act as a pharmacist. When someone comes in with a prescription, I'm not looking if they're a Republican, Democrat, or independent. I fill the prescription if it's going to help them. That's how you should be looking at legislature. We need people from the sidelines to put their pockets aside and run for office, because we are not being represented.
All right, well, I thank you both for being here and wish you the best on
Thank you very
Election
much,
Day.
Susan.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Susan.
And Election Day is Tuesday, November 8th. And keep up with the latest election news on WGAL.com. You'll find more information on other races that we're following that you'll only find online.